Yes, indeed, guys. Welcome back to the channel. It's Jay Jordan here, and today I'm going to recap yesterday's Liberty game against the Seattle Storm. At the time I'm recording this, it's the morning after. It's July 26th. The game took place on July 25th at 7 p.m. at the Barclays Center in downtown Brooklyn. Crazy game. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend this game due to work obligations, but I was able to watch most of it. And the parts I didn't watch live, I went back and watched the game recording afterwards. But incredible game. The Liberty pull it off. Incredible comeback, 86-82, bringing their record to 17-5 overall. To preface this game recap, the Liberty were down 18 points at one point in the third quarter, so we'll get to that during the recap. As always, guys, if you like these type of videos, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit that noti bell so you get notified whenever I post. And also, make sure you leave some comments down below. Any questions you have, any comments you may have about any game, any team. I'll get to it. All right, so let's start off before the game. Jonquel Jones was awarded Eastern Conference Player of the Week for her performances in the past couple games. She had back-to-back double doubles. We got 2 wins for those games that she played really well in, and she was awarded Eastern Conference Player of the Week, which is a good sign that she's coming back into her own. I know she has started off sluggish, and I'll be the first to say I've been very critical of her performances, especially as a former MVP of the league. But she has been coming into her own, and she earned the Player of the Week, Eastern Conference Player of the Week, for the past week. All right, so let's get into the starting lineups. For the Seattle Storm, this is the fourth time we're playing them, so swept we've swept the season series, but this time they decided to use a different lineup than what we played them last time. Instead of Ivana Dojkic at the point guard, they ended up starting Sammy Whitcomb in her place. And Gabby Williams, their longtime player from France, she's back in the lineup so Kia Nurse didn't start this game either. So the lineup was Jewel Lloyd, Sammy Whitcomb, Gabby Williams, Ezzy Magbagor, and Dulcie Fancamediatu. She played last game and she gave Jonquel problems on the boards. For the Liberty, our same starting lineup we've been starting with is Courtney Vandersloot, Sabrina Ionescu, Benai Jelani, Breanna Stewart, and Jonquel Jones. All right, so in that first quarter, we were outscored 26-21. We started off really sluggish. I think they went up like 10-2 or 10-4, something like that. We weren't playing really well. I mean, compared to the 44-point first quarter we had last game against the Fever, it was a far cry from that. Struggling to play, miscommunications on defense, struggling to hit shots, turning the ball over, which has been our Achilles heel all season long. And Jewel Lloyd for the Seattle Storm came out on fire. I mean, we gave her a wide open shot to start off the game, a miscommunication on defense. And then after that, she was just getting to her spots, hitting contested threes, getting fouled, and going to the line. So that really affected us early in that first quarter. However, in that second quarter, we were able to, I think we were able to go up 30-28 after that, after being down 26-21 to end the first. So we went up 30-28, and that was the last time we led until later in the game. Seattle came out firing. We couldn't hit shots. We couldn't play defense. They were getting to the lane at will, wide open shots. Jewel Lloyd continued to abuse us. Sammy Whitcomb, our former player, it's like she likes coming back to play us in this gym from last game, this game. She was hitting crazy 3-pointers. She was getting into the paint and getting other people involved. Ezzy Magbagor had a really, really great game for her. The first time All Star, and at the end of that second quarter, we were still down at the end of the second quarter. I think we had 35 points at the end of the second quarter, if I remember correctly. They really were taking it to us. I really, there's nothing else to really say about it. They really can't. They didn't want to get this. They're a team that didn't want to get swept for the season series. They really, and they came out with that. So uh, they had about 45 points to our 35 to end the second quarter. And in the third quarter, it started off bad, I should say. The third quarter, they went out on a nice run, like a 10-0 run to, I think it was like an 8-0 run. They were up 18 at one point. We couldn't score from, I think, a minute and a half left in the second quarter to about six and a half left in the third quarter. So we went on a really dry spell where the ball wasn't going in the basket, and that would affect us on the defensive end, and they would be scoring easy baskets off our turnovers and off our missed shots. So at one point they were up 55-37 with about 5 minutes 55 seconds left in the third quarter. Sandy Brundello called a timeout at that point. As I'm watching, I'm like, oh boy, this is getting out of hand. We need a spark. We have to make a run now. If we don't make a run now, this game could get out of hand. But I will say the ladies really responded. They came out, scored 11 straight points during a 15-2 run to end that third quarter, and we got it back to 57-52. Benijah and Vandersloot hit some big threes. I think during that timeout, we'll see in the press conference, but I think I read that coach really wanted to get JJ and Breanna Stewart really involved down on the block. So the first play out, I think Breanna Stewart was in the paint, got a nice turnaround, and then John Quell got a nice in the paint turnaround bank shot as well. Going into the fourth quarter, now that it was actually a game, before we get there, the New York outscored them 19-15 in that third quarter. Going into the fourth quarter, now that we were back in this game, the crowd was back into the game. Everybody was hyped. We started shutting Jewel down. After she scored 22 points in that first half, she only ended up scoring 10 the rest of the way. She didn't really abuse us as much as she did in that first half, and that was due to a change in how we were covering her, according to Sandy Brondello. But I think Sammy Whitcomb hit a three to put them up 77-76, and then after that, John Quell hit a crazy like line straight on bank shot three, um, to put us up 79-77, and from that point on, it was curtains. We just closed the game out, and we ended up winning 86-82. In this game, you'll see in the box score that we're about to look at now that Sabrina had a triple double, 12, 12, and 12. Breanna Stewart had 22 points. John Quell was a beast on the board. I think she had 17 rebounds. But Nija, another great game from her. She had 22 last game. She finished with 19 this game. For the other end, Jewel Lloyd and Etty Magbagor are the people who affected us. But we'll take a look at the box score now. Looking at the back box score, I'll zoom in for us so we can get a closer look how everything really went down for us. As you can see, 86-82, the final score. We'll start with Seattle. Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams. Gabby Williams ended up having 5 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds. Her job isn't really to score when she's on the floor. Her job is really to play defense and score occasionally if the shot is open for her. For Dulcie Fancom Maggiatu, a far cry from her last game against us. She has 6 points and 4 rebounds with 4 fouls. She was a plus 11 in her minutes. She only played 15 minutes. Ezzy Magbagor Really great game for her. 22 points and 12, double double for her. 5 assists to go with it, 3 blocks and 3 steals. Really great game for her. Sammy Whitcomb, former player, 11 points, 3 and 9 shooting. It felt like those threes came at like big moments. She was 4 for 11, had 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 2 steals. Jewel Lloyd, like I mentioned, she killed us early in the game, 32 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. She did go 9 for 23, 6 for 13 from three though, and 8 for 9 from the line, but a -6 in her minutes. For their bench, Joyner Holmes, nothing to really contribute, played 4 minutes. Mercedes Russell came in, got some nice layups, 6 points, 2 rebounds for her. -12 in her minutes though. Kia Nurse, nothing to contribute. For our New York Liberty, but Nigel Laney, another great game in 34 minutes, 19 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, +12 in her minutes. Breanna Stewart, 37 minutes, played almost the whole game, 22 points, 7 rebounds, 9 and 18 shooting. Jonquel Jones, another double double for her, 13 points, 17 boards, beasting on the boards. That 1 3 I mentioned was the bank shot three at the end, in the fourth quarter to give us the lead for good. Vandersloot, 10 points, 6 assists, only 2 turnovers today, which is a much better than she has been doing lately. Hit some big threes, 2 for 4 for 3. And Sabrina Ionescu, triple double, 12 points, 12 assists, 12 rebounds. Really struggled shooting, as you can see, 2 for 14 shooting, 2 for 14, and 2 for 9 for 3. So the only shot she hit was 2 threes, but she did hit a big three during the comeback. So she hit all of her free throws. 6 offensive and 6 defensive rebounds for her, which is big. For our bench, Kayla Thornton, no points from her. Niara Sabli, no points from her. Johannes hit some good threes for us and was playing good defense as well. Three steals. And Jocelyn Willoughby, no points. So we only got 10 points from our bench, and all 10 came from one player. We gotta do much better than that. I think the lineups had to change since we were getting beat, and the starters had to play a little more. But in 12 minutes, 7 minutes, we gotta get some type of productivity from the bench. Let's take a look at the team stats. For Seattle, they shot 42.9%, almost 43%. The Liberty shot 40% from the field, so they shot a better percentage than us. They shot it better from the 3-point line as well, 36%. We shot 28%. I think we shot like 23 threes in the first half, and we only hit like 5. It was bad, but we somehow overcame. 12 for 14 from the line, 11 for 14 for Seattle. Rebounding wise, New York had 47. Seattle had 35. So we beat them on the boards on both offensive and defensive board. The assists totals, we had 26 assists on 32 made field goals, which is always a good ratio right there, about 6 off. 22 assists for Seattle. We had 10 steals each for both teams, 5 blocks each for both teams. Our turnovers were a little lower today. We had 13 to their, but they out turnovered us, if that's a word. They had 14, we had 13. They scored 14 points off our turnovers. We only scored 5 off of theirs. They had 13 fast break points to our 11. 36 points in the paint for them. For us, 34 in the paint for them. They had 15 fouls to our 11. We had 2 technical fouls. I do remember one on Sabrina. She seems like she gets a tech almost every game I'm at. And their largest lead was 18. Our largest lead was 7. Yeah, so those were the box score and the team stats. As you can see, our turnovers were down a little. We still had some costly ones, but we were able to overcome it by playing solid defense and efficient offense during a stretch during the game, especially that halfway through the third into the fourth quarter. All right, so let's get into the press conference. I really wanted to see what the players had to say about overcoming this big deficit Just their largest comeback of the season, 18 points. So I wanted to see what the players had to say. As always, I'm on my guy Miles Ehrlich's page, beat writer for the Liberty. He always tends to get almost everybody's questions, and he gives credit to who asks the question in the press conference. So I like to use his page for reference. All right, let's take a look at some of them, see what the players had to say. Um, Benijah Laney, we'll touch on this one. Benijah Laney on Sabrina's triple double. Just that even though her shot wasn't falling, she was doing any and everything else to help the team. We know what she's capable of, and she found a way to get it done in the second half, which is a great sign. She really was chasing her own misses, getting offensive rebounds, and then finding her teammates. Sandy Brondello's touch on this one. Sandy Brondello, some of her passing, um, in reference to Sabrina, I complimented her in the locker room, especially with B, excuse me. B cut so well, and Sabrina sees it before she's even open. Sabrina's not just a scorer; she's one of the best playmakers and facilitators in the WNBA. End quote. There were really great passes by Sabrina and Benijah. That goes with them having the continuity of playing together for a few seasons now, so they know where each other is going to be. So that really helped us out tremendously when we were making the comeback. Actually, from Sabrina on her on rebounding mentality during a poor shooting night. She said, just continuing to crash, making sure I'm doing my job and getting into the paint, hitting the boards to make some offense for us. I knew my shot was off, so I continued to go after it. So, and she really did. She really was all over the floor, chasing the ball down, grabbing rebounds, passing the ball to her teammates. It was great to see, even though she only made 2 shots out of 14. Another one like that. Breanna Stewart on home crowd. Sometimes we take for granted when we play at home. We've lost 3 home games. When you have a crowd like ours, you want them to be able to help you when times get tough, to give you more energy, and that is what happened tonight. And that definitely did. Once we started making the comeback, the crowd really got in it. I see they gave out towels today, like the little rally towels. So it was nice to see those towels start going when the comeback trek was on. Sandy Brondello, as I mentioned during the earlier recap about the quarters, Sandy Brondello on what helped the team to overcome 18-point deficit. Quote: the goal was to try and get the ball to B, Benijah Laney, JJ, John Cole Jones, and Stewie, Breanna Stewart, and that really worked. Let's see anything else right here. This is important as well. As I mentioned, Jewel struggled in that second half. She only scored 10 points. Most of them were free throws. Sandy Brondello and holding Jewel Louis to 1 for 10 in the second half after 8 for 13 first half. She said, quote, instead of switching her, we trapped her more to get the ball out of her hands. We didn't want to, we didn't want to give her open threes. We wanted to push her into congestion. And that adjustment really worked. As you can see, 1 for 10 in the second half. Only scored 1 field goal, hit a bunch of free throws. Breanna Stewart on Jonquel Jones. She said, quote, her confidence level is exactly where it needs to be, and it's only going to continue to get better. She's a former MVP. This is what she does. It might have took her a little while to get back to form, but we knew this was her. And she's really getting back into form. She seems a little lighter on her feet. Her shot's starting to fall. She's being very active in the defensive passing lanes, and she's grabbing a lot of rebounds now. Um, as I mentioned, this was Sabrina's. She had a triple double. So as ESPN writes here, Sabrina notched her 4th career triple double in our win. All right, so my thoughts, man. As even though we won, my thought is we should have never been down to this team. This team is the worst team in the league right now. This is their 10th loss in a row. Their franchise worst 10th loss. They're 4-19. We should have never even been down 18 points to this team. I mean, it's easy to say. I know they say any team can be beaten on any given night, blah, blah, blah. But for a team that has championship aspirations, to be down at home 18 points to the worst team in the league, is not a good sign. We're glad we were able to fight, adjust, and overcome to get the win. But in order to beat the big teams in this league, we can't get down 18 points. We can't get down 18 points to aces. Um, the way Connecticut and Dallas are playing now, we can't get down 18 points to these top of the league teams that we're gonna have to see come playoff time. So that's one thing I would like to see. I would like to have better intention and aggression early in the game, show our fortitude to build leads and keep leads like we did last game against the Fever. Once we get a big lead, we able to sustain it and keep our foot on the gas. Don't give them any chance or any hope, because all some teams need is a sliver of hope, and they're able to pull off something that they shouldn't have. But overall, our shot selection in that first half left a lot to be desired. Like Sandy Brondello said, we shot about 25 threes and only made 5. Something got to give. Even though some of those shots were wide open, you got to know, let's try and get to the basket, get them in foul trouble. So let's get a layup, let's get a free throw so we can see the ball go through the basket. Once you see the ball go through the basket, things will change. And the turnovers were much less today. 13 is much better than the 18 and the almost 20s we were having the past couple games. So that's an improvement there. Luckily they turned the ball over one more time than us, but I would like to see that get down to the 10 and single digit range. I still see us where there are less offensive moving screen fouls. It's just more lackadaisical passes when you're trying to get into the offense. Teams are just jumping on it and going down to score. So I would like to see an improvement there. Well, this was our 22nd game of the season. 18 games to go. We have this is our full week. This is our second of 4 games at home this week. We beat the Fever on Sunday. We beat the Storm yesterday on the 25th. Now we play the Atlanta Dream on tomorrow, which is July 27th. And then we make up our postponed game against the Lynx on Friday the 28th. So if we can finish this home stretch with a nice 4-0 record, that would say a lot about us securing our wins at home, and then we go on the road to play LA on Sunday. As always, guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll have another game recap on Friday morning for Thursday's game against the Dream. I should be at that game. I'll probably make it by halftime, so I'll have to rewatch the first half due to work obligations. But I'll definitely have the game recap out for you guys on Friday morning. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Remember, as this video ends, remember to hit that subscribe button so you get all my videos, they pop up on the feed. Hit that noti bell so you get notified whenever I post. Leave your thoughts down below. I'll get to them as soon as you leave them. Until next time, guys. Salute.